Namaskar, Suprabhatam. Hearty welcome to you all for this ninth day yoga practical live session on the theme The Science and Art of Common Yoga Protocol, prepared for International Day of Yoga. Let us begin the today's sadhana with invocation. Fold your hands, Namaskar Mudra, 3 times Omkar and invocation. संगच्छध्वं संवदध्वं संवो मनांसि जानता देवाभागं यथा पूर्वे संज्ञानाना उपासते संज्ञानाना उपासते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Today we'll practice Kapalbhati and also some pranayamas as mentioned in the Common Yoga Protocol. Today's session is very important because asanas prepared the body for the free flow of prana, the vital force. The pranayama, especially the upper respiratory tracts, then the whole lungs and the respiratory organs involved in the respiratory process has to be strengthened, and the breath should be regulated so that there is a prana movement in the body. The first one is Kapalabhati. The Kapala, the forehead, Bhati, just like a blacksmith's pillow, we are giving the strokes to the abdomen, and so that there is a active exhalation and passive inhalation. The Kapalbhati is one of the Shat Karmas in the Hatha Yoga texts. It meant for the cleansing, and several Hatha Yoga texts like Gherana Samhita, Kumbhaka Paddhati, Hatha Pradipika, Hatha Ratnavali, Hatha Tattva Kaumudi, Bahiranga Yoga, almost all Hatha Yoga texts where Shodhana is the first stage or first step in Hatha Yoga Sadhana, they refer Kapalbhati. Kapalbhati has found place in almost all Hatha Yoga texts. That is the importance, because the frontal sinuses shall be always clean. The nasal passage should be opened for the free flow of breathing. So the Kapalbhati helps that. Then most importantly, the one of the important organ, important muscle is diaphragm. It facilitates the diaphragm health of diaphragm muscles by giving the strokes as per these things. So when you are giving repeated strokes, so our breathing rate is almost in normal position 15 to 18 times per minute. But here we increase the speed to 60 strokes per minute. In advanced practitioners, it is 120 strokes or 120 breathings per minute. So there is a complete change in the mechanism of breathing. So then we are creating a state of hypoxia. Therefore, Kapalbhati slowly helps us to improve the functions of the brain and develop the immunity, and it's facilitate for the proper practices of pranayama as mentioned in the Hatha Yoga text. Let us see the correct technique. 30 seconds. So let me see, you are sitting in any comfortable posture. We'll show you the alternatives. Any comfortable posture, it may be Sukhasana, Ardha Padmasana, Padmasana, Vajrasana, anyone. But the most important thing is your spine should be straight. Your spine should be straight. Kindly see. Somebody, yes, you can see the straight spine, but there is no tension in the body. Sometimes we bend at the lumbar region just by leaning forward. Yes, we drop our body. Just we drop our body. Yes, kindly see your lumbosacral spine has come up. Just make it straight. Kindly see, this is the difference. So this makes a huge difference in the impact of Kapalbhati. Therefore, always see that your chest is open, back is straight, abdomen muscles are completely relaxed so that you can give a proper strokes. Now let us see the first round of Kapalbhati. Yes, sit. Close your eyes. Exhale completely. Inhale and start 30 strokes. Exhale and relax. See the impact. So this is the speed at 60 to 90 strokes. Let us increase the speed. We'll do it for 60 strokes in 30 seconds. Little bit of speed up so that impact is a little bit. This is for the beginners. We are giving strokes. This is 1 stroke per second. So now the speed what we have shown is 90 strokes per second. Now let us see 120 strokes per second. We'll give it 60 strokes in 30 seconds. Okay? Yes, start. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, shoulder down, keep your back straight, relax your abdominal muscles. See the impact on your forehead, opening of the nasal passages and the frontal sinuses. If any mucus is there, by proper Kapalbhati, you can cleanse it. It is very, very important practice, especially for present situation. Therefore, start with 10 strokes or 20 strokes or 30 strokes, slowly 1 strokes per second, and increase it to 1.5 strokes per second. Then increase it to 2 strokes for 1 second. That means 120 strokes per minute is the optimum. So if you practice 3 rounds, then we'll get the maximum benefits of Kapalbhati. Let me see the first one more round. Now we are going to have 120 strokes. First we practice 30 minutes, the same 30 seconds, the same 30 seconds, but we have performed 60 strokes in 30 seconds. Now we are going to 120 strokes in 1 minute or 60 seconds. Kindly see the rhythm and it will have a different way. You can also practice along with us. Yes, sit straight, close your eyes, exhale, inhale, exhale, relax, close your eyes, see the impact. It's a complete relaxation. The kapala, the forehead is completely regenerated. The respirative centers are become alert. Both nostrils are open for the free flow of breathing. This is a wonderful practice. So I conclude the Kapalbhati can be practiced 1 stroke per second. Kindly see the stroke. Can see? We are giving the yes. Like this. You can start like this. Once you get the rhythm, do it for 10. Then you can increase to 20. Then increase to 30 seconds. But for common people, I recommend 30 strokes per 30 seconds. Those who are regular, they can increase it to 60 strokes in 30 seconds gradually. So one sitting, you do it 30, then you can repeat it for 3 times, we will have the maximum effect. Those who are advanced practitioners, kindly practice 120 strokes and let the feeling comes, then repeat it for 3 rounds. We usually recommend 3 rounds of Kapalbhati, 30 seconds each or 60 seconds each. So, but here in Kapalbhati, many precautions shall be taken. Those who are having the cardiac conditions, hypertension or cardiac problems, heart attacks, and they should not do it. If they do it also, they have to learn it from the expert and do it. Those who are having the vertigo problem, extremely high blood pressure, if it is a mild blood pressure, Kapalbhati facilitates. If you do it very carefully, Kapalbhati helps to elevate the high blood pressure. But if it is too high blood pressure, more than 140 by 90 always, so then you should be very careful. So then it is anybody having gastric ulcers. So whenever we stood it and it stimulates the gastric juices. Then women in pregnancy, during menstrual cycles, 1 or 2 days or maximum 3 days, they can avoid these practices. But most importantly, in very chronic respiratory problems, so when your noses are blocked, so when you cannot breathe properly, suddenly don't start Kapalbhati, because whenever you give strokes, there is a pressure on your ear lobes. Therefore, sometime it may affect adversely. That's why whenever you have a chronic conditions, you should avoid. Whenever your nose are completely blocked, we suggest Vataniti or Jalaniti or Sutraniti. Kindly see the Vatniti. So if you are not able to do Kapalbhati, just chin upper. Then you can inhale and exhale properly like this. Like this. So that's why Neti is always advised. Neti, Kapal Bhati go in hand. So, same thing we can do it in Bastrika way, but I see simple. Chin upper, inhalation and exhalation with rhythm, both with forceful. There in Kapal Bhati, active exhalation and passive inhalation. You are giving the strokes to the navel center and relaxing the abdomen, and ultimately the air comes in because inhalation become automatic. But you are doing forceful exhalation. Here in Vatneti, you are doing both inhalation and exhalation. So if you do it, still the blocks are there, you can use the steam. Then with the steam you can do it, that will open up. If you do it 3-4 times, the nostrils are open. So Vatneti and Kapal Bhati go in hand. So if you are having a clear nostrils and no blockages etc., I prefer only Kapal Bhati to go. So what are the benefits of Kapal Bhati? The most important benefits of Kapal Bhati are, it cleanses the nasal passages, and diaphragm is important muscle which take place in the breathing activity. Strengthen the diaphragm and abdominal muscles. Therefore, it also helps in digestion. Those who are suffering from indigestion and constipation, and Kapal Bhati helps them. And if anybody perform Kapal Bhati regularly, purifies the blood by removal of carbon dioxide, because we are creating the hypoxia. Next. So then we can go to the cardiac condition. Stimulates insulin secretions. Therefore, it is also advised for the diabetic patients, and especially even it improves the functions of liver and kidneys. It has the beneficial effects on central neural processing and sensory motor performances. Therefore, Kapal Bhati is a very important kriya, and especially nowadays it is being used for weight reduction and also for the overcoming the disorders related to the overweight or obesity. With this, Kapal Bhati is an important and integral, let it be integral part of Yoga Sadhana, but it should be performed with care, that develop the rhythm and perform effectively so that it facilitates for the pranayama. Let us move on to the pranayama. First one is Nadi Shodhana or Nadi Shuddhi, or we may call it as Anuloma Viloma. In pranayama, we have 3 components. One is inhalation, it is called Puraka. Then exhalation, it is called Rechaka. Then retention, it is called Kumbhaka. We can retain the breath inside, it's called Anthak Kumbhaka. And we can retain the breath after exhalation. It is the not allowing the breath to enter. It is called Shunyaka or Bahya Kumbhaka. There are the 4 procedures. But here, for the safety in the common yoga protocol, though we mentioned pranayama, so we have taken up only the Puraka and Rechaka. That is also in the very small ratio, 1:1. So it is 5 to 6 seconds inhalation and 5 to 6 second exhalation. We are not advised any retention either inside or outside in the common yoga protocol. Here also we are not going to mention them. Therefore, now when you come to the pranayama, 3 things are important. One is Shodhana. Cleansing before you start pranayama is very important. Your nasal passage, your chest, everything. Then respiratory muscles become strong by the practice of the yogasana, etc. Then lungs must be clear. So that's why the cleansing, asana, and the proper diet, that is very important. So they will facilitate for the practice of pranayama. I mentioned the Shodhana kriyas, the asanas, and also the diet, the proper diet. I am not going to details about the diet. Proper yogic diet facilitate for the proper practice of pranayama. Now let us see the sitting postures for the pranayama. Many times we cannot sit and do it. Already you have seen the one sitting posture. You can see you can use the one cushion, you can use the towel, then you can sit on the cushion like this. Yes, you can join your legs like this. Even you can sit on the Vajrasana using the cushion, those who cannot. Yes, please. That also, little bit of back side. Go back little bit. Yes, kindly see that. So that your ankles are rested, ankle joints are rested on the cushion. So that facilitate. Again you can see the back is straight. Make it straight little bit, pull it up. Kindly see. So in the whole Kapalbhati or Pranayama, Samam Kaya Shirogriya. Body is firmly based. You have to place the body firmly on the ground, but your back and neck are always stimulated. Some people cannot even cross your legs, sit like this. They can use the chair. Kindly see, you can see in one Kapalbhati. You can use the chair. Yes, you can use the chair. Back is straight. You can place your palms on the thighs or on the knees as per your comfort. Again, sit straight. Kindly see the Kapalbhati. You can do it. Okay, now you can see the Nadi Shodhan. We will practice Nadi Shodhan in this position only. Kindly see. Now, in the Nadi Shuddhi, you exhale. Some people ask the question, which nostril we have to start? Start from the nostril which is clearly open for free flow of breathing. But usually we prefer breathing, we start from the left nostril. It is called Chandranadi, so that the cooling effect will start. Then exhale through the right nostril. Then again inhale through the right, exhale through the left. This is one round that takes 2 breathing. So again I repeat, when you sit, you place the another hand in the Jnana Mudra or in proper position. Then you make the proper Nasika Mudra. You can show the Nasika Mudra. Open your all the fingers. Close your all 4 fingers. Then slowly open your small finger and ring finger. So that makes the Nasika Mudra. So then slowly keep it, the thumb on your right and ring finger and small finger on the left wrist. So this is the position we adopt. We exhale and inhale through the left, it's Puraka, 5 to 6 seconds normally. Close, open the right nostril, exhale through the right, Rechaka, 5 to 6 seconds. Again inhale through the right nostril, slowly. Close, exhale through the left nostril. Again, one more round. Inhale through the left. Close, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. And exhale through the left. Relax. You can keep the chair away and sit on the ground. So let me see the Nadi Shodhana. How many rounds? So in my experience, whenever you start any pranayama, it takes minimum 2 to 4 rounds or cycles to get into the proper rhythm. So because what are the principles here? It is first of all, it is slow, regulated, controlled, deep inhalation and exhalation with awareness. I have mentioned 5 attributes. One is it is slow, regulated, rate of change of breathing should be the same, and it is controlled, and it is deep, full, with awareness you are aware. So without awareness it is breathing. If you bring the awareness where the prana or breathe flows, that awareness is pranayama. Later on, the breathe becomes mechanical, it is become autonomic, but your awareness, that is the state of pranayama. And you are moving with the awareness, you are controlling the awareness, you are regulating the awareness in different, that is called prana ayama. That awareness, if it is not there, it is just a breathing practice. This is the difference. So that's why in the beginning, in the first lecture, yogic practices are mind centric. Now from the physical frame, we are coming into the pranic frame or the vital state. Therefore in pranayama, we begin with the body, but slowly breathing, it is also physiological activity, physical and physiological activity, but slowly we are coming into the vital activity by keeping our awareness. Therefore, I repeat, it is slow, controlled, regulated, deep inhalation and exhalation with awareness. Even if you retention, Kumbhaka introduced, that is also with proper bandhas and attention. So pranayama plays vital importance. Let me see the references of Nadi Shodhan pranayam in many of the texts. Hatha Pradipika mentioned. In some people also consider Nadi Shodhana as not pranayam. It is also cleansing. It is Nadi Shuddhi. Nadi Shuddhi. Some texts mention it as a Nadi Shuddhi. Shuddhi means it is a cleansing. Like this, some people use Kapal Bhati as a pranayama. Like this, some people Nadi Shodhana pranayama as a kriya. So whatever the differences, but the technology is the same. Benefits are we are getting the same. It has also find the reference in Gheranda Samhita, Hatha Tattva Kaumudi and many of the modern texts. Let me see some of the important benefits of Nadi Shodhana. So as you know, we have a nervous system and central nervous system with spine and brain. This is going to help both the entire central nervous system. But most importantly, it is autonomous nervous system where your sympathetic and parasympathetic balance will occur by regular practice of Kapalbhati. It increases the oxygen saturation, beneficial effects on respiratory disorders. So most importantly, those who regularly practice Kapalbhati, their sleep quality is going to improve. This is the research we have. Then most importantly, the quality of life, the toxins are removed and excess mucus etc. has been removed. Every day you are getting it, therefore you are living stress free life. This is the impact of Nadi Shodhana. Let us see next pranayama, Shitali pranayama. It is Shitali. So it has find the references in the Shiva Samhita, Gheranda Samhita and Hatha Pradipika, Hatha Ratnavali and many of the modern yoga master texts like Asana Pranayama and the light and pranayamas from Guruji and many others. So Shitali is a Shitali and Sitkari. When you go to the Ashtakumbhaka, we have a two blocks, Surya Vedana, Ujjayi for stimulating the Surya Nadi. Then we have a Shitali Shitkari, Brahmari Bhastrika, Murcha Plavini. Like this, there is a two sets of four, two practice of 4 sets. So that has the some stages. So now in Shitali, so we are, let me see the precautions. Most importantly, before going to Shitali, those who are having severe cold, cough, tonsillitis, etc., and they should not practice it. And those who are having constant ear problems, they also may avoid Shitali. Shitali is a wonderful practice, but those who are suffering the depression and all these things, they can avoid. Okay. Now let me see the practice of Shitali. It is very simple. You are making your tongue, you can spiral it, making just like a pipe, that croc's pipe. Then slowly inhale through the tongue, the spiral tongue, fully, and take your tongue inside, close the mouth and exhale slowly. Exhale slowly. Exhale slowly. Relax. Again, take out your tongue, spiral it, inhale, close, exhale through the nose. Again repeat it for 8 to 10 times. Nadi Shodhana also 8 to 10 times. Here Shitali also 8 to 10 times. Because of time, we are recommended only 4 rounds in the common yoga protocol. But I usually practice 10 times, then only I can get the maximum benefits, because 2 to 4 rounds it will take to get the rhythm. Then once you get the rhythm, if you have to practice 5 to 6 rounds to draw the maximum benefits of it. So let me see what are the benefits of Shitali Pranayam. We have, it provides the cooling effect, enhances the alpha in the brain, alpha brainwave, increase mental focus and bring calmness. Most importantly is to boost immune system, because it helps to improve the parasympathetic activities and improve the sleep quality, and therefore it reduces the stress level. So many people were nowadays, how pranayama improves the immunity. Most importantly by Kapalbhati, Nadi Shodhana, Shitali, then we are going for Brahmari. There we are going to have a regulated breathing that will align the body breathing activity, and so that there is a quality of sleep is going to be increased. Then that helps to improve the immune system. Therefore, Shitali Pranayama plays a vital role in the development of immunity. Let us move on to Brahmari, the last one. Actually, it is both inhalation and exhalation. Brahmari Pranayama. It finds the references, just like a B sound. It is both inhalation and exhalation in the traditional text. Let me see the references. It has found a place in the Gheranda Samhita, Hatpradipika, Hatratnavali, Kumbhaka Paddhati, and many of the modern yoga master texts also it finds the place. Brahmari, it is both inhalation and exhalation. Let me see how really Hatha Yoga Pradipika exhale. While inhaling, you are taking the male B, and while exhaling, it is from the female B, like this. Again I maintain 1:2 ratio. This is the real method of doing Radhani, and it has the two types of resonance effect. The resonant frequency of resonance is different in the inhalation and exhalation. But here we have chosen only the exhalation, like a male female B sound. Kindly sit properly. See the technique. Again same sitting posture. Inhale, we do 2 rounds. Then we go for the with Shanmukhi Mudra. Yes, inhale, start. Again inhale. Same thing, you can use the Shanmukhi Mudra. You post your index finger on your eyes and middle finger on your nostril, and ring finger and small finger above your lips and below your lips, and close your ears with your thumb. Inhale slowly by opening the nose. Yes, then slowly exhale. Again inhale. Relax, hands down, close your eyes. So therefore, whatever you adopt the Brahmari, Shanmukha Mudra, or you do properly, the most importantly, proper resonance, proper frequency generation is important. Brahmari has several benefits. We have already got the time, we will conclude. So it has many benefits. Most importantly, it balances autonomic nervous functions, soothing and calming effects on the mind, improves concentration and memory, and it is very helpful in the stress and its consequences. And most importantly, brain functions are going to improve. It also helps in the skin health, and most important aspect of Brahmari is it facilitates for meditation. So we have a Pratyahara and Dharana practice. Proper chanting of Brahmari or proper performance of Brahmari leads for the dhyana and it prepares. That's why Patanjali said the impact of pranayama or the benefit of pranayama is dharanasu eva manasa. It prepares for the dharana and dhyana. With this, we conclude with a small prayer. Shanti Pata. Close your eyes. Fold your hands for Namaskar Mudra. Breathe in. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। धन्यवाद। शुभ दिन। जय हिंद, जय भारत।